So today we're going to unpack how one of the biggest airlines in Asia just saw its profits take a nosedive. And maybe even more interesting is their response. It's a massive, multi-billion-dollar bet that's set to reshape the entire industry. Let's get right into it. Okay, so let's just start with the question that really got everyone talking this quarter. I mean, how does a major national airline, a huge player in the region, suddenly see its profits fall off a cliff? What is going on here? And here's the number that started it all: a 67% drop in net profit. That's compared to the very same quarter last year. Now, a number that big, wow, that sends up some serious red flags, not just for the airline, but really for the whole aviation market. So let's unpack how we got here. All right, so to really get what's behind that big headline number, we've got to break it down. We're going to look at the money coming in and the specific reasons the airline itself is giving for this slump. So when you look at the big picture, their total revenue was down about 6% to just over 4 trillion Korean won. But, the cane wasn't spread out evenly. The airline got hit hard on the passenger side, and even more dramatically in its cargo business. It really shows they were feeling the pressure from multiple directions at once. So what's the official story? Well, Korean Air is pointing the finger at a few key things. First, really fierce price competition that's just driving ticket prices down. Second, a major national holiday actually shifted out of the quarter, which hurt travel numbers. And third, a wider global slowdown that's hitting the air cargo business especially hard. And that last point about cargo, that's actually super important because this isn't just a story about Korean Air. To really get a handle on their performance, we need to zoom out and look at the major turbulence that's hitting the entire aviation industry right now. And this is the context for everything. All around the world, airlines are getting squeezed by slowing trade, costs that keep going up, and profit margins that are already razor thin. So Korean Air isn't just in a slump, it's flying right into a global economic storm. This data from IATA, the International Air Transport Association, it really tells the story. Just look at those net profit margins. Even in a growth market like the Asia Pacific, airlines are making just a couple of cents a profit for every dollar that comes in. It just shows you what an incredibly tough business this is, where any little dip in demand or spike in costs can completely wipe out your profits. And that cargo business, man, it got hit really hard. See, after that post-pandemic boom, air cargo rates started to get a lot weaker. At the exact same time, the cost to ship things by sea just plummeted, which made it a way cheaper alternative. That pulled a ton of business away from the airlines, and it hit their bottom line hard. So, on one hand, you've got revenue under attack. And on the other, costs are climbing. This data shows non-fuel costs are on the rise. And the biggest piece of that is labor, up over 7%. You throw in higher maintenance bills and leasing fees, and you've got the perfect recipe for a major profit squeeze. Okay, so you're facing all these powerful headwinds. What's the solution? Well, for Korean Air, it's not some small course correction. No, it's one of the biggest, boldest moves we've seen in modern aviation. Their answer is to completely reshape the entire South Korean airline market by buying their #1 domestic rival, Asiana Airlines. The goal here is pretty simple. Stop fighting each other at home and create one single dominant national airline that can take on the rest of the world. And make no mistake, this is a huge undertaking that's already happening. It's a multi-year process that touches everything, from putting the same seats in Asiana's planes to moving all of their ground operations into one terminal at their main hub. This is a very slow, very methodical integration. So what's the grand vision here? What's the end game? What does this new combined super airline actually look like when it's all put together? Well, for starters, when this merger is complete, the new unified airline is expected to be the 7th largest in the entire world by passenger volume. So this isn't just about being the biggest airline in Korea. It's about becoming a true global heavyweight. We're talking about a massive combined fleet of around 250 aircraft. That kind of scale gives them incredible reach and a ton of flexibility. So you see, that $1.4 billion price tag, it's not just them buying another company. It's a huge strategic bet. It's designed to build an aviation powerhouse that's strong enough to fly through the kind of storms we're seeing in the market today. And the goals they've set, they're huge. They want to create one seamless experience for passengers, totally dominate routes in the Asia Pacific, boost efficiency by getting rid of overlapping routes and staff, and ultimately build a much more financially stable business for the long haul.
But let's be realistic for a second. A merger of this size, trying to combine two giant companies that have been bitter rivals, it's never that simple, right? It comes with a whole bunch of really significant risks and challenges.
You know, one of the biggest hurdles, and one that industry experts keep pointing to, is debt. Korean Air isn't just buying planes and routes. They're also taking on all of Asiana's financial baggage. And believe me, there's a lot of it. Managing that debt is going to be absolutely critical. The path forward is really full of potential traps. They've got to deal with that mountain of debt from Asiana. They have to navigate a really complex and uncertain global economy. And maybe the hardest part of all, they have to figure out how to successfully merge the operations and the cultures of two huge organizations that have been fierce rivals for decades. That's no small task. And so this leaves us with one big final question. In a world full of challenges, Korean Air is making this enormous bet that being bigger isn't just better, it's absolutely necessary to survive and to win. The only question now is, will this high-stakes gamble actually pay off?